Well, I think you give them yourself. The there's nothing wrong, and also you're expressing a lot of playfulness. So right now you're talking about being pissed off and anger, and it's quite delightful because there's a playfulness with it. There's a humor. Right now you are expressing the answer. If you said two things. One is it's not wrong, and then you brought an energy to it, which is playful and um, humorous. And I would say to you, though, that's the pearl of wisdom is those two. There's not really nowhere to get to, and so you're talking about a change in life, in form, from a previous thing, from previous decisions to something new, and it's going to take time to change. But that newness isn't ever arriving. It'll change to where it is how you imagine it to be, maybe something remotely close to that, and then it'll keep changing, and then it'll keep changing. And you what you know comes from change and goes towards change. And yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the frustration and the sense of kind of being in between. You can, but only when you realize you're already there all the time, always have been, always will be, which is what you can say as here now. But at the level of the experience of life, to truly see that there is nowhere to arrive to. But in the meantime, even until that becomes obvious, the the journey could be a little more pleasant if you bring the same energy you just brought now, which is humorous and playful. So in the middle of the frustration and the anger, you can also have a laugh, because you tapped into it yourself right here as you shared something of this moment, invited you, enabled you to bring that playfulness. But it's something you did on your own. Yeah, and also give yourself permission to have a humor and a playfulness about it. If you're around people you have frustrations with, you can kind of find the humor in it, in your experience, in your, a bit of the comedic aspect. Yeah. Yeah, most of the consequences we fear don't happen, and the ones we think, if they happen, would be horrible, we get through them, and we're okay. But with that one thing, just on that, because it's really kind of an important point. The experience of never ending, it's not that something is never ending, it feels like it's never ending.
Yeah.
And so, never ending crap is an experience. It has the experience, it involves thought as well. So, it's part of it, right? Sensations, thoughts. And so, you can go into that experience because there's a really thin line between the experience of never ending being this is never ending, and there's a reality to never endingness, and then the projection in time of something that this is going to repeat or continue as it is for a long time. And another is to see it as an experience, in a sense, out of time. It's a flavor of experience that is the experience of it feels like it's never ending. And that experience comes and goes. And so when the whatever is getting activated that brings up this contraction into never-ending time, never-ending discomfort, or whatever it is that is this never-ending experience, you can go more into it with a more subtle attention and really taste. When I say taste, is what is this made of? And not as an intellectual exercise, but really savor it and see, oh, there's this sense of contraction, this sensation in the body, there's this narrative and belief, and this is going to be like this for a long time. And that is based, it's made of thought. And all of that, in a sense, you as you taste it more directly, you can start to see that, in a sense, it's empty. It doesn't have any true nature or power over you. It's just a thing that's being created, and then you can actually see you're creating it. There's a narrative that you're choosing that's creating that. It's like, oh wow, I'm creating this. But only through not fighting it, and by tasting it, you can see it all the way to its root. And whatever is happening now, for example, the same thing. Whatever is happening in this moment that's uncomfortable, unwanted, yeah, and that you can go deeper and deeper into that sense of richness, into that aliveness, and then the qualities that make it problematic start to become part of the richness. And then it all does change. In fact, it's impossible for something to be permanent. And so the experience of this is going to be like this forever is an experience. that tastes like it's going to be forever, but it comes, and that in itself comes and goes. It's impossible to sustain that experience over time, even if you try. And in fact, trying to sustain something over time is the struggle. Identification is these mechanisms that attempt to create something that sustains over time. And nothing does. The only thing that doesn't change is what I often call beingness, what others call I amness. It's all the same. That doesn't change. But what is experienced is always in motion, always changing, no matter what. The more you try to preserve something in time, the more it'll become a struggle to keep something that inevitably will change. And I'm not talking about, um, you know, things in life like I want to be able to own this apartment for the rest of my life. I'm talking about experience. Even if you look at one object, that the object is there, you look at it, it's going to be constantly in motion, the experience of it. But yes, we are, the whole root of this struggle is the issue of change, no change. Self-inquiry is to see that which we think we are is an attempt at keeping an image of ourselves constantly unchanged. And then the more we see that, the more we see that we are not that, and that which we think we are is constantly changing, so that it's not us. That's not what we are.